משנכנס אדם, מרבים בשמחה. Are you ready? It's coming. It's this Motzei Shabbat, Saturday night and Sunday. It's a big festival. I'm Rabbi Jonathan Tawil, director and founder of Tal, and I want to share with you a few beautiful words to get us ready in the mood for this wonderful festival and this special Shabbat. You know, over Purim we've got 4 main mitzvot. In the night, Saturday night, Motzei Shabbat, we're going to be reading the Megillah. The next morning, the Megillah. That's the number 1. Number 2 is we're going to be taking care of all our friends, people that we haven't spoken to in a while. We're going to bring them mishloach manot, ish l're'ehu, at least to one person, 2 different types of food. Then we've got matanot levionim. Matanot levionim is a beautiful mitzvah. We're going to be taking care of those that are poor, that are normally chas v'shalom left out. We make sure that we take care of 2 poor people on the day of Purim. On the day we give them the money so that they're okay, they've got enough money to enjoy and to have a su'udah at least. And then we have the final mitzvah is the mitzvah of Su'udat Purim, in which we drink and eat and we enjoy and we speak divrei Torah and we indulge in God's greatness, and that we're able that we're able to be alive at this beautiful moment in place. What's interesting is that this Purim is preceded by a Shabbat, and the Shabbat is Parshat Tetzaveh. And Parshat Tetzaveh talks about the big day Kohuna. All the Kohanim, the great priests in the time of the Mishkan, what were they going to wear? Up to now, they were slaves that came out of Egypt, and God gives them these holy garments, and He explains to them how to make them and what is needed, the materials that are needed to make them. And God, of course, is talking to Moshe Rabbeinu. And what's unbelievable is that Moshe Rabbeinu isn't mentioned once in the Parsha. His name is mentioned since the day he is born. His name is mentioned in every single Parsha up to Devarim, apart from this one, Tetzaveh. There are many beautiful ideas that are given for this, but I want to share with you something that I think touches this beautiful festival of Purim. Purim didn't occur over a few days. It's a very interesting story. You see, when Nebuchadnezzar destroyed our temple, he came with the Babylonian army and he killed and he massacred thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Jews, and he took away the Jews from their homeland that they've been in since the times of Joshua for the first time, for the first exile, and he took them to Bavel, to Iraq. Over there, he wanted to take with him, he wanted to have King Solomon's throne. Our rabbis tell us he tried to go onto King Solomon's throne, but there were animals, either these structures of animals that protected the throne, and he wasn't able to come, so he gave up. A few years later, there was a very big emperor called Pharaoh Necho. King Pharaoh of Egypt, he also came and he also desired this beautiful throne of King Solomon. He tried to go up, and he, in fact, was hit and bit by these animals, and he became a bit disabled. That's why it's called Pharaoh Necho. Eventually, Achashverosh is around, and he also desires. So what does he do? So our rabbis tell us, he's not going to go and he's going to get injured. He decides to build a replica. Such a splendid throne, he builds a replica. The problem is, he lives in Bavel, he lives in today Iraq, but there were not enough workers, not enough craftsmen that could make such a special place. So what does he do? He goes and he looks around and he finds that the place that it must be the best place to make such a wonderful throne with the greatest craftsmen in the world is Shushan. And over there he builds this throne, and he builds and he builds, and it takes 3 years to build this throne. After 3 years, he gets the men and he says, let's bring it now to my palace. And they try and they heave, nothing goes. It's too heavy to move. And they try every way they can with animals, with people, doesn't move. You know what King Achashverosh did? He moved his palace, to Shushan. God Almighty, God Almighty gave already the medicine before the injury. King Achashverosh moves all the way to Shushan, because that's where the throne of Solomon that he's built is, and he wants to be there. But the real reason that he's moved over there, as we all know, because we're going to read it in the Megillah, is because there was a beautiful man by the name of Mordechai HaYehudi. B'Shushan HaBira, he lived in Shushan, which became the Bira, became the capital, because Achashverosh left where he was, and he came to this place. And he came over there, and Mordechai, God Almighty said, I'm not going to bring Mordechai to you, you're going to come to the place of Mordechai. And in fact, the whole Megillah takes 9 years. And when on the first day, when Achashverosh is making the party, after many days, and he calls Vashti, and Vashti gets the chop, so to speak, because she doesn't want to come in front of Achashverosh. How is that possible? So the rabbis tell us they had a parliament, and Haman was the first to give the advice to Achashverosh, forget it, we don't need parliament. If you want to act, you're the king, you go ahead and you kill her. So he went ahead without parliament, he made a new edict, the king can override parliament. He got her and he killed her. Many years later, that same edict of Haman comes back to haunt him. As Achashverosh is finding Esther together with Haman, Haman is jumping on Esther at the beautiful final feast where Esther revealed to Achashverosh that she's a Jew, and please save my people from this Rasha Haman. And Chavorna comes in and he says, there's also a beautiful gallows 50 amot high that Haman's been building. Perhaps we should send him over there. And Achashverosh straight away says, send him there. And he gets killed. Imagine if there would have been a parliament. It wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked. So the whole story from beginning to end, God Almighty is leading us and He's always protecting us. That is the story of Purim. And there's no mention in the whole Megillah of God's name. It's a holy artifact. It's the last of the holy Ketubim, or the last of the holy scriptures. And there's no mention of God. Just like in this week's Parsha, where there's no mention of Moshe Rabbeinu. God is orchestrating everything from behind the scenes. And in this week's Parsha, Moshe Rabbeinu is orchestrating everything from behind the scenes. And sometimes it takes taking away the name of the person in order to really appreciate. And when we go back this Purim, and we look at the Megillah, and we read the Megillah this Purim on Saturday night, appreciate Hashem in everything. We only know a little part of the jigsaw, and another part of the jigsaw, and another part of the jigsaw. When you put everything together, you see the most wonderful picture. But it takes time, it can take time. You can be seeing that the whole of the Jewish people is about to be annihilated and thinking that's the end of the world. But God has got a plan. V'hi she'amda lavotenu. Kadosh Baruch Hu is always with us. And that is the message of Purim, and the last of the Ketuvim, the last of the scriptures, is to teach us. God Almighty is with us wherever we go. Have faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Be besimcha this Purim. Join, connect with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we should always share in happy occasions together. I'm Rabbi Jonathan Tawil, wishing you, your families, all of Am Yisrael, a wonderful Purim Sameach.